What if I told you that rejection is not your enemy, but your greatest ally? That every time someone turns you away, closes a door in your face, or laughs at your ambitions, they are unknowingly giving you a secret weapon, an energy you can transform into unstoppable drive. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor who ruled not only a kingdom but also his own turbulent mind, once wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." And yet, most of us fear rejection like death itself. We take a "no" as a verdict on our worth, a denial as a wound to our soul. But the Stoics teach us a radical truth: rejection is the universe shaping you, testing you, and sharpening you for something greater. When life says no, it's not shutting you down, it's redirecting you. Rejection, when reframed, becomes reverse psychology at its purest. The very thing that looks like defeat can trigger your evolution. Imagine rejection not as a barrier, but as a mirror, reflecting where you must grow stronger. Imagine each denial as proof that you dared to step forward, while others remained silent in fear. If you could see rejection through Stoic eyes, you would stop asking, "Why me?" and instead declare, "This is fuel. This is my advantage." Because the more rejection you face, the more immune you become to fear. And the more immune you are to fear, the more unstoppable your spirit becomes. The psychology behind rejection is fascinating. Humans crave approval, it is wired into our survival instincts. To be cast out, ignored, or denied feels like death because, in ancient times, rejection meant exile, and exile meant danger. But here's the paradox: in modern life, rejection no longer kills you. It liberates you. It strips away illusion, but if instead you use their rejection as momentum, if you let their "no" ignite your inner fire, they have unknowingly played into your hands. This is not stubbornness, it is strategy. Marcus Aurelius didn't become great by being applauded every step of the way. He endured betrayal, criticism, and scorn, yet he transmuted those wounds into wisdom. Rejection is life's way of saying, "You are not ready for this door, but another one awaits. Keep walking." The Stoic warrior embraces this truth. He does not beg for acceptance. He does not crumble at being dismissed. He whispers to himself, "Their rejection cannot diminish my worth. It only reveals their blindness." And with that mindset, rejection transforms from poison into power, from burden into blessing. Think of the times you were rejected, the job that slipped away, the love that walked past, the friend that betrayed, the opportunity that was denied. At first, it felt like devastation. But look closer, was it not in those very moments that your resilience was born? Did you not rise from those ashes more focused, more determined, more unshakable? This is the hidden gift of rejection, it reveals to you the depth of your own strength. Marcus Aurelius often reminded himself that the opinion of others cannot wound the soul unless you grant it permission. So why should rejection pierce your spirit when in truth it says nothing about your essence? Reverse psychology teaches us this: take the "no" and turn it back on the giver. When the world says, "You are not worthy," reply not with words but with transformation. Let your results, your growth, your persistence become your silent counterattack. Rejection is not a wall, it is a signal. It tells you, "Not here. Not yet. But keep moving." And the irony is that many who rejected you will one day look back in regret. They will realize that the very person they dismissed became the one they should have believed in. You owe them no vengeance, only the silent triumph of your become. Rejection is often disguised as protection. The Stoics believed that fate, or what they called logos, carries a wisdom far greater than our limited understanding. Marcus Aurelius urged himself daily, "Accept whatever comes to you woven in the pattern of your destiny, for what could more aptly fit your needs?" Think about that. What if the rejection you hate today is saving you from disaster tomorrow? What if the door slammed in your face is shielding you from a path that would have drained your spirit, wasted your years, or broken your health? We curse the "no" because we are addicted to our own plans. But when you practice reverse psychology with fate, you turn rejection into reassurance. You stop chasing what escapes you and start embracing what awaits you. Every time someone rejects you, whisper, "Thank you for clarity. Thank you for showing me what was never mine." Then redirect your energy to what is still within your control, your effort, your discipline, your vision. To the Stoic, rejection is never final. It is simply life redirecting the current toward the ocean where your true destiny lies. And once you understand this, you no longer beg for approval, you walk with calm power, knowing that what is truly yours cannot be taken, and what is taken was never truly yours. But let's be honest, rejection still stings. The human ego revolts, the mind replays the scene again and again, the laughter, the silence, the cold dismissal. Yet here lies the key, the pain is not caused by the rejection itself, but by your interpretation of it. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself, if you are pained by external things, it is not they that disturb you, but your own judgment of them. And it is in your power to wipe out that judgment now. Imagine the power of this perspective. You can walk away from rejection without bitterness. You can receive a no and feel no wound. Why? Because you've rewritten the script in your mind. Reverse psychology turns rejection into confirmation that you are daring greatly. Only those who attempt, risk rejection. Only those who climb face the possibility of falling. The timid never face rejection, but they also never touch greatness. So the next time you are denied, remember this, you were rejected because you tried. And that puts you already ahead of millions who never had the courage to step forward. In this light, rejection becomes not humiliation but honor, a badge proving that you are in the arena, not a spectator in the stands. Do you realize how much power lies in indifference to rejection? The Stoic warrior is not shaken by acceptance or denial. Praise and blame, approval and dismissal, he treats them all as passing winds. This calm neutrality is terrifying to those who try to control you with rejection. When someone expects you to beg, to grovel, to collapse in self-doubt, and instead you remain steady, unmoved, even grateful, you disarm them completely. That is reverse psychology at its most potent. You make rejection powerless by refusing to let it define you. You stand so firm in your own self-command that no external verdict can unseat your worth. Marcus Aurelius faced endless criticism as emperor. Senators plotted, generals betrayed, citizens complained. Yet in his journal he wrote, "If anyone despises me, that is their concern. But I will see to it that I am not found guilty of any act deserving contempt." This is the essence, control your actions, not their approval. Master your choices, not their acceptance. Once you adopt this Stoic armor, rejection ceases to hurt. It becomes simply information, data you can use, feedback you can learn from, or noise you can ignore. Either way, it no longer chains you. Rejection is the training ground of greatness. Think of every philosopher, every leader, every creator who left their mark on history. None of them rose without being told they weren't enough. Marcus Aurelius was often underestimated, considered too philosophical to rule. Yet rejection became the crucible that purified their strength. The fire of dismissal burns away weakness, leaving behind only resilience. When people tell you no, when they shut you out, they are forging your patience, sharpening your endurance, and toughening your resolve. Reverse psychology whispers, the more you reject me, the stronger I become. That is the paradox the world doesn't understand. What most see as a setback is in truth a test of durability. To the Stoic, rejection is not the end of the story, it is the sharpening of the sword. Each rejection you endure without collapsing is another strike of the hammer against the steel of your spirit. You are not being diminished, you are being hardened. And when the moment comes, when opportunity finally aligns with preparation, you will strike with the force of someone who has been tempered by countless blows. That is why the rejected often rise higher than the accepted, because rejection taught them a depth of strength comfort could never give. But rejection is not only endurance, it is direction. Sometimes rejection is life's way of pointing you toward your true battlefield. You may chase a door because your ego desires it, only to be turned away because your destiny lies elsewhere. Marcus Aurelius believed in following nature's course, not forcing it. He wrote, "Nature never says one thing and wisdom another." Rejection, then, is nature whispering, "This path is not for you. Adjust your course." If you fight against it, you suffer. But if you accept it, you discover new paths that lead to greater victories. Reverse psychology teaches us to see rejection not as punishment but as guidance. Imagine the archer whose arrow misses the target. He does not curse the bow or the wind, he studies, adjusts, and shoots again. Every rejection is feedback, an invitation to refine, to rethink, to reposition yourself. In this way, rejection becomes your silent mentor, pointing out flaws you could not see, correcting your aim, and aligning you with greater precision. Those who resist rejection waste years in bitterness. Those who embrace it gain wisdom and clarity. The difference between the two is the difference between stagnation and transformation. The power of rejection also lies in how it exposes truth. Acceptance can be deceptive, filled with false smiles and shallow praise. But rejection is brutally honest. It tells you exactly where you stand with people, with opportunities, with the world. And truth, however painful, is always better than illusion. Marcus Aurelius insisted, "If it is not right, do not do it, if it is not true, do not say it." Rejection reveals who truly values you and who only pretends. It shows which doors are real and which are painted illusions. This is why rejection, when seen rightly, is a gift of clarity. Think of the relationships that ended, the friends who turned away, the employers who said you weren't the one. Did their rejection not ultimately reveal that they were not aligned with your essence? Would you truly want to be tied forever to those who cannot see your worth? Reverse psychology flips the script. When they reject you, it is not you who loses, it is they who lose the chance to walk beside your future greatness. You move forward, unchained, free to find those who recognize your fire. And one day, their rejection will stand as proof that you were always destined for something beyond their limited vision. Rejection, when embraced, becomes the art of turning wounds into wisdom. The Stoics were masters of this alchemy. Marcus Aurelius wrote privately in his Meditations, never intending the world to read his thoughts, yet his words echo like thunder, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this, and you will find strength. What does rejection prove? That outside events are not yours to command. But your response, your resilience, your determination, your choice to rise, that is always in your power. Reverse psychology works here in a subtle way. When you stop fearing rejection, rejection loses its sting. Imagine a warrior who walks into battle expecting arrows. Each one that strikes is no surprise, no tragedy. He marches forward unshaken because he anticipated it. You too must expect rejection. Welcome it, even. And when it arrives, you greet it not as an enemy but as an ally. You tried to weaken me, but you've made me unbreakable. The world is stunned by this kind of response. Most people crumble at denial. Few rise stronger. The Stoic stands among the few. And when you learn to do the same, rejection becomes not the end of your story but the beginning of your legend. Reverse psychology in the face of rejection also teaches you to master patience. Think of Marcus Aurelius in the chaos of Rome, wars, plagues, conspiracies. Many wanted him gone. Many rejected his vision of discipline and virtue. Yet he did not rush, did not rage. He endured. Because the Stoic knows that time is the great equalizer. The very ones who reject you today may, in the slow march of years, become the ones who seek your help tomorrow. Your task is not to force them to accept you now, but to remain steady until reality itself reveals the truth. Rejection is often temporary blindness. Others cannot yet see what you are becoming. So, endure the blindness without bitterness. Continue your work, polish your craft, deepen your discipline. In time, your growth will speak louder than their rejection ever did. Reverse psychology turns waiting into a weapon. Instead of chasing those who said no, you focus on evolving so greatly that their rejection becomes irrelevant. One day, they may knock on your door. And the power lies in your calm indifference, you no longer need them. For the Stoic, the sweetest victory is not in proving others wrong, but there is another layer to rejection. It trains you to detach from ego. At its core, rejection feels painful because it bruises the image you hold of yourself. You want to be chosen, validated, admired. When others refuse you, that image cracks. But Marcus Aurelius constantly reminded himself that the ego is fragile and deceptive. Consider how soon you will be forgotten, and how soon all will have forgotten you. If even an emperor knew his legacy would fade, how much more should we humble ourselves? Reverse psychology teaches us to thank rejection for humbling us. It is the antidote to arrogance. When you are denied, you are reminded, I am not owed anything by the world. Everything I receive is a gift. This mindset creates freedom. Because if you do not expect acceptance, rejection cannot wound you. You move through life unattached to applause or scorn, focused only on what you can control, your choices, your character, your contribution. The Stoic warrior knows this truth: you cannot control the outcome, but you can always control your preparation. And when rejection no longer sways your ego, you stand with a serenity that is terrifyingly powerful. You become the rare one who cannot be manipulated, for neither approval nor denial holds you captive anymore. Rejection is not the end, it is the beginning of transformation. Marcus Aurelius lived by the idea that everything which happens is woven into the grand tapestry of fate. To resist rejection is to resist life itself. But to embrace rejection is to align with the current of destiny. The universe is change, our life is what our thoughts make it. These words echo like a timeless law. If rejection comes, it is part of that change. And if life is shaped by thought, then the meaning you assign to rejection decides whether it becomes poison or medicine. Reverse psychology commands you to rewrite the meaning instantly. Instead of, they turned me away, declare, they unknowingly gave me strength. Instead of, I am not wanted, say, I am being redirected. With each rejection, you are not being diminished, you are being chiseled. The sculptor does not weep when the hammer strikes the stone, he knows it is shaping beauty. Likewise, rejection strikes you not to destroy you but to reveal the masterpiece hidden within. The more blows you endure, the sharper your edges become, the clearer your form emerges. And one day, those who rejected you will stand in awe, realizing they were blind to the art you were becoming all along. Rejection also teaches you to build inner abundance. Most chase acceptance as if it were air, believing they cannot breathe without approval. But Stoicism reverses this. It teaches, the kingdom lies within. Marcus Aurelius declared, nowhere can man find a quieter or more untroubled retreat than in his own soul. When rejection cuts you, it reveals whether your soul is barren or rich. If barren, you collapse, for you depended on others to feed your worth. If rich, you remain calm, for your wellspring flows from within. Reverse psychology here is simple but profound. Every rejection is a reminder to strengthen your inner reserves. To build such self-command, such clarity, such inner wealth, that no denial can bankrupt you. Imagine a fortress whose walls are made of granite. Arrows of rejection may strike, but they cannot pierce. That fortress must be your mind. Cultivate wisdom, discipline, and self-respect until you walk with the quiet power of someone who no longer begs for entry into any gate, because he carries his own kingdom within. The irony? Those who once rejected you will be drawn back, not because you sought them, but because your inner abundance makes you magnetic. The rejected man who masters himself becomes irresistible, for he no longer needs what others withhold. And so we arrive at the final truth: rejection is liberation. The world thinks rejection chains you, but in fact it frees you. It releases you from false paths, from shallow relationships, from illusions that would have wasted your life. It teaches you to detach from ego, to master patience, to discover strength you never imagined. Marcus Aurelius taught that every obstacle is an opportunity. And rejection is perhaps the greatest of all, because it forces you to evolve. Reverse psychology flips rejection from curse to blessing. It takes what was meant to stop you and uses it to make you unstoppable. Hear this clearly: the one who is rejected yet persists cannot be broken. The one who is denied yet advances cannot be defeated. For each no becomes another stone in the fortress of his spirit. And when the day comes that fate finally opens the right door, he walks through not as a desperate beggar, but as a warrior who has earned his place. So the next time you face rejection, whether in love, in work, in dreams, do not tremble. Do not collapse. Smile inwardly and whisper, "You have given me power." And let that power carry you beyond the reach of those who once